Hi there folks, and welcome into the Truck King YouTube channel. Today we're looking at this, the 2026 Honda Passport. This thing has been fully redesigned, so it has tons of new features and technology that I want to tell you all about. So in this video, we'll do a full walk around, we'll go inside and out, and then we'll go on a drive. I'll tell you how it drives, and we'll do a fuel economy test, so make sure you stay tuned. Let's start with the powertrain. So there's only one engine you can get with your Honda Passport. That's a 3.5-liter V6. It makes 285 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. Yes, that is 5 extra horsepower compared to the Passport it's replacing, but hey, I'll take it. And now this is sent through a 10-speed automatic, so the Passport has more gears now too. Now, I think this may be obvious, but the largest change that came to this vehicle is the way it looks. We recently tested a Passport this past winter next to a Honda Pilot. You can see that Passport here, and you can see the Pilot, and I think we can all agree that this is definitely the most aggressive design now in the Honda SUV lineup, and I think it looks really good. If you're building a vehicle that's meant to go on adventures and go off-road, why not make it look like an off-road adventure vehicle? And that's exactly what I feel like Honda has done. Not to mention, this orange is an excellent color. So now I need you to weigh in, because that's just my thoughts. So drop in the comments, please. And right now, let me know, what do you think of the new styling on the Passport? And how do you think it compares to the old one? Because I think it makes the old one look pretty frumpy. Let's talk about the specific model we have here today. So this is the Passport Trailsport Touring, and it's finished in sunset orange, by the way, which is a Trailsport specific color. So you have to get the Trailsport model to get this color. So the Trailsport side of things, that's all the off-road equipment. So you're getting recovery points up front, you're getting skid plates underneath, you're getting an upgraded set of tires from General Grabber. Those are all-terrains, and of course, standard all-wheel drive with this model. And then the touring side of things is all of the more luxurious interior appointments. You're also getting the Honda Sensing suite of driver assistance systems, and you're getting a Trail Watch camera system. So yeah, all of that nice technology and interior stuff is the touring side. So this thing is fully loaded. It's ready to go on an adventure, and it has all of the features to match. Now you're also going to see a nice roof rack up here. And another thing I noticed in the press release about this vehicle, Honda talked a lot about the accessories that it has developed for the new Passport. So you can see some of them here. Things like rock sliders, things like a roof rack that goes up top that you could throw a tent on, all kinds of different accessories. They're really trying to make this thing into a true adventure vehicle. And on that note, I want to talk about towing and payload. So every single Passport is good to tow 5,000 pounds, which is a pretty good number. Now let's go check the sticker. Payload on this model, as it sits, 948 pounds, which is just okay. Let's take a look at the second row now. So first of all, the baby seat situation. So we actually have 3 different lower latch positions. That's great to see. And there's also 3 top tethers along here, so pretty good flexibility with your car seats. Now I'll climb in. So this is actually listed at just over 40 inches of second row legroom, and it's a ton. This is my driving position, and you can see how much space I have. My knees feel maybe just a hair taller than I'd like them, but for the most part, this is quite comfortable back here. I'm impressed by the size. I like to see this too. Look, you get 2 pockets in the back of this seat, one up there, and then the big one down there. For other amenities, do have the second row sunshades. There's all these door pockets sort of molded right into the door, and cup holders molded into the door. I love to see that, so every passenger has their own little spot. And then down here in the center, I get vents, I get a heated second row, my own HVAC controls, USB-C ports, and a plug. It's just 150 watts, but still nice to have a plug. So yeah, really nicely outfitted here. Now, before we go to the very back, let me also show you up here. If you grab these shoulders, you can fold this, and it does make a pretty decent flat floor, so you really can pack a lot of stuff in here if you fold this down. Now let's go back there and I'll show you the rear. So we do have a powered hatch here. And same thing, when that second row is up, this is still a lot of space back here. It's over 40 cubic feet, which is nice to see. And the one thing I think Honda does just about better than anybody else, all of these little cubbies for storage. You get these big ones up here in the wall, you get some lower ones down here, and there's even some hidden storage underneath the floor, which I like to see. So if we open this guy up, you get to that bin, and I've got all kinds of junk in there, including my son's underwear down there. Don't ask why. And then over here, if you grab this handle, the whole thing lifts up, and bam, you get to your spare tire and some cool mountain designs up there. So yeah, I think not only is there a lot of cargo space, what Honda has done with the cargo space is really clever. And then one other clever feature I like, over here there's a button on the wall, you press it, it tells the vehicle, hey, watch for me to walk away, and that's when I want you to close the hatch. So I've got the key in my pocket, and yeah, you can see it in action. That's a smart feature. Okay folks, time to hit the road now in the Passport. So we will go ahead, pull up the fuel economy, and we will reset it on trip B. And there we go, all zeroed out. And now we're going to drive roughly 100 kilometers, and we will track the fuel economy number for you. Now, as I take off here, I'll talk about how the Passport drives. And first of all, power. Power feels all right. Not crazy powerful, but not weak either. It's nicely matched to the vehicle. I want to compare it to how it drives to the old Passport. We recently tested an old Passport here on the channel, so I had quite a bit of time in that thing. And honestly, I don't feel a huge difference, and that's not a bad thing. I guess just because the exterior has been so heavily revised, I expected it maybe to drive somehow different, but it really doesn't, and that means that it's quiet in here. It's a nice, easy to drive vehicle, tracks nice and straight, doesn't take a lot of input from my hands to keep this thing driving straight on the highway. So as a commuter, you know, as a Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 vehicle taking you to your job, it's absolutely perfect. And I do think that's what Honda really excels at building, vehicles that are just easy to drive, simple to understand, and the driving experience is so buttoned down. There's no body roll to speak of, but it's also not stiff. It's pretty comfortable. So yeah, daily drivability is excellent here in the Passport, just like it used to be. Now I'll touch on the interior. This is also revised, but once again, it definitely inside feels a lot more like evolution, not revolution, which can't be said for the exterior. But on the interior, yeah, things have been changed a little bit. A couple buttons have been moved around, but for the most part, this feels very reminiscent of the last Passport and very reminiscent of the Honda Pilot. You're getting the push button transmission, you're getting the infotainment screen up here sort of attached onto the dash, and then still all the hard buttons for my HVAC, which I do appreciate. So yeah, style-wise, I won't say this interior is much nicer than it was before. It feels pretty similar. The one thing I like to see, and this is another spot where I think Honda excels, is all of the at-hand storage. There's a little shelf over there over top of the glove box. I have molded storage in my door and molded cup holders in my door, a pair of cup holders down here, a little cubby down in the center, a larger space down here next to the wireless phone charging, of course a center console bin right over here, and even still a sunglasses holder up top. So yeah, more so than other brands, I just think Honda gives us so many spots to stash our stuff, so many at-hand places for storage in a vehicle, and that's smart because you're really maximizing the utility. By now you might be saying, hey Steve, why don't you take that thing off-road? Well, good news, we are taking it off-road, and I'm actually bringing along a Jeep Wrangler to compare it to. You know what? The Wrangler is one of the bars in the off-road industry, and I want to see if this Honda can hang out with a Wrangler out on the trail. So make sure you watch for that video here on the channel, because in this video, no, we're focused on features and fuel economy and on-road, but then in that separate video, we're going to really focus in on the off-road aspects of this vehicle, and we'll take it out and get it muddy. Finally, I think the big question still remains, which is that why would I get a Passport over a Honda Pilot? And in the previous generation, the answer wasn't super clear because those vehicles are quite similar. Now, the one major difference is the Pilot has a third row, and so yeah, if you need to carry more passengers, if you have kids, or just need to carry a lot of people, the Pilot is a much better choice. But outside of that, the Pilot and the Passport felt very similar from behind the wheel, and I would say they still do. But now, with this new generation, the Passport has totally separated itself based on the way it looks. The styling here is so adventurous and aggressive. It really doesn't look anything like the Pilot. And where the Pilot still has some of those sort of rounded, soft edges, the Passport now is much more muscular looking with sharper edges. So yeah, styling wise, the Passport has absolutely set itself apart, and I think it's going to attract a very different buyer from the Pilot. Alrighty folks, and that is it for our drive. I can show you we managed 10.4 liters per 100 over 100.8 kilometers. Well folks, we have arrived at the end of this video. Now honestly, there's a lot going on with this Passport that I like, the all-wheel drive, all the features inside, but I think we have to acknowledge the biggest change here is just simply the way it looks, and I think that one change alone is enough to bring a lot of new buyers over here to check out a Passport. So that's what I think, but of course, now I need to hear from you, so why don't you drop in the comments, let me know all of your thoughts on this redesigned Honda. As always, while you're down there, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit join to become a member, and then come right back here to Truck King to see what we're testing next. See ya.